Are you relying on a PlayStation 4 and PlayStation Plus to get all of your new games for your total gaming experience? Well, you might have to upgrade to the new ages. You might have to get a PlayStation 5. You might just have to invest into what has actually been out for surprisingly over 4 years already. PlayStation 5 came out in November of 2020 in the height of the pandemic, so I'm pretty sure a lot of you spent your stimulus checks on that PlayStation 5 to be in the current market. And good on you, because the face of Sony and PlayStation gaming is changing. Update on PlayStation 4 games for PlayStation Plus. As many of our players are currently playing on PS5 and shifted towards redeeming and accessing PS5 titles from the monthly games and game catalog benefit, PlayStation Plus is evolving with this trend and will be focusing on offering PlayStation 5 titles through the monthly games and game catalog benefits starting of 2026. As we shift to PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4 games will no longer be a key benefit and will only be occasionally offered for PlayStation Plus monthly games and game catalogs starting of January 2026. We may still provide titles that can be playable on both PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 consoles after this date. Please note, this won't affect the PlayStation 4 monthly games that you have already redeemed from PlayStation Plus. You'll continue to have access to those games you've already redeemed as long as you remain a member. For game catalog, PlayStation 4 games will still be available to play until it leaves the catalog as part of our monthly refresh. We'll continue to evolve the experience of the PlayStation 4 Plus and optimize the benefits you receive, including exclusive discounts, online multiplayer access, online game save storage, and more. As we shift to focus our PS5, we look forward to adding new PS5 titles monthly for you to enjoy. Now, there's a little bit to take away from this. We're not getting rid of the PlayStation 4 games entirely. They're just saying that it's not going to be something that they want to see going forward. Now, the PlayStation 4 is already 13 years old, which is insane to think of. It would be a child on its way into high school at this point. And the PlayStation 5 will turn 5 this year. So with that, we're almost already thinking about the next generation of consoles. And for me, that just bought a PS5 like a few months ago, fuck me, I guess, right? But I basically bought that to just play a few games, mostly Dragon Ball Sparking Zero as part of my birthday celebration on stream. But you know, it is what it is, and we're using it now for the Borderlands 4 playthrough. And we're not getting rid of PlayStation 4 entirely, but this is, I think, a shift that where the writing was on the wall, effectively, because new games that are coming out now are not available for PlayStation 4. And it's logical. We're going into the fourth full year of the PlayStation 5, and they're developing now for that console, and the software that's on that console is a lot easier to develop now for the PlayStation 4 as the technology has changed. And I've also heard that Sony in general is just a little bit more difficult to develop games for than something like Microsoft or the Xbox and, well, the Switch. We don't really want to talk about the Switch because they just make things impossible in general, because Nintendo doesn't even know what's good for Nintendo. But we have to make the obvious comparison. Is PlayStation Plus anywhere similar to what Game Pass is for Xbox? I've always been a big Game Pass fan because it gives you a lot of access to a lot of games on day one. The only difference between Game Pass on those games for day one is if they ever leave Game Pass, you no longer have access to them ever again. The big thing with PlayStation Plus is if you get a discount on a game and you purchase it, you still have access to that game unless the developer of the game stops support for it, which we've seen in the past. That's why there's petitions going on for servers to stay active for games forever. It's just something that is kind of the way of the future. If you want a PlayStation 4 game, you better buy the physical console, you better buy the physical game, and hope there's a single-player mode to it so that you can continue to enjoy it for life. I'm a huge component of physical media collection, a la this shelf right here. But with that being said, if the servers aren't active for it, it doesn't matter in the end. PlayStation continues to evolve and develop their programs for the PlayStation Plus, and currently I am not a subscriber, but somehow there's still deals of the month that I can take advantage of, and that's not a bad thing. But I don't see myself, continuing to or pursuing the PlayStation Plus side of things just because I don't see a lot of value in it, especially if they're focusing on PlayStation 5, where your biggest title to date might just be Returnal, and there's not a lot there. Obviously, the God of War series going forward is going to be massive for it, but when you look at something that just happened, like the Xbox Developer Direct, where we got to see the new Doom game, Doom Dark Ages, and a lot of things that are going on there that will be available for PlayStation 5, but are free with Game Pass on day one, just seems more logical for me to spend $25 a month on Game Pass versus $25 a month on PlayStation Plus when I can have instant access to the games on the days that they're released. Those things make sense to me. I'm not telling you guys what to do with your money. You can do with what you want with your money, but it just doesn't feel like to me that PlayStation Plus is a good value. And if you look at Game Pass, you can actually go back and they've got a whole Xbox 360 category there that you can just go and have a bunch of fun with if you don't own those physical games. Because back in that day, a lot of them had single player campaigns that didn't need servers so that you could actually enjoy those games for the lifetime of your ownership, which is kind of big. I don't know. The landscape of games is changing constantly, and there's been a news release as well that's saying that the PlayStation 6 is going to be exclusively digital, and that kind of scares me. By that time, hopefully, I'm not going to be so worried about convenience, and will be converted fully to PC, because at least if I purchase it digitally on Steam, I still sort of own it. But I think physical media is going to go by the way of the dodo bird, and to me, as a collector, that's unfortunate. But I just thought I'd update you on a little bit of gaming news. That's all I got for today. Bye.